So, Mark, did you see this video of the guys laying out the carpet at Wynn? A little bit of Sigma Derby, a lot of carpet sexiness. I think this video was made for MTM Vegas.
Yeah, it looks like the guy on the inside track was ahead at the end, but we didn't get to see like where it finished. But it's just cool to see things like this. You don't normally get to witness things being put in real time and how they do it. And I'm sure to them it's no big deal. They do it every day, but to us it just looks so cool and something unique.
It's like synchronized swimming, but for carpets.
I guess.
Well, Mark, speaking of Sigma Derby, we had the big parade last week and it moved over to Golden Gate. And we now have video and pictures. They had their first race last Friday. It looks like a lot of people were on hand. And I heard that you can still get a seat, though, depending on the day. But it's popular over at Golden Gate, right there in the middle of the casino floor where the table games used to be.
Yeah, it looks tight. And I know you said that you thought it was a bit tight in there. I mean, I don't think there's much clearance between the ceiling and the top of the Sigma Derby, but it does look like a perfect fit. Looks like it always kind of belonged there. And I love that it's bringing a vibe back to the place. I think it lost that when you pulled out the table games. And yes, I still would probably rather have table games overall just for that property. But I think that this is a better location for Sigma Derby. One, all the news and everything is going to have people going in there to check it out. But two, it's easier to find. You'll probably see it if you're walking by on Fremont, if you peek in and everything. It's not kind of hidden like it was at the D.
Yeah, that's a great point. The second story of the D lets people go there. This is right off of Fremont, right near Circa, so you can stumble over there too from the more modern stuff going on at Circa. And I think it fits well there. I agree with you. It's a tight fit, especially with the vertical clearance, but the oldest hotel in Las Vegas. So you expect all of that going on there. But yeah, another show, another spectacle. Sigma Derby at its new home. I walked by one of the newer ones at MGM Grand the other day, and it's just, I hate to say it. I sound like a broken record, but it isn't the same.
Should Golden Gate just totally lean into this and move all like the coin machines there, or try to get a whole bunch of coin machines, fill it in, and those tokens that you can win and people hold on to even though they're worth money and all that stuff. Like it just seems like it's a smaller casino, would be the perfect place to do it.
I think, with his neighbors Plaza and Four Queens, they're doing the Silver Strikes, coin slots at El Cortez. Cal just pulled out their coin slots like we talked about. It doesn't seem like that's what Derek Stevens wants to do.
Well, come on, Derek. You already took out the table games. Give us something.
Let's stay on nostalgia, though, Mark. Can you believe this? This story makes me feel old. Monte Carlo opened 30 years ago. It was June 21st, 1996 that the Monte Carlo opened. A very interesting history to this property. It was built on part of the old Dunes golf course, and it was partly owned by Mirage Resorts, Steve Wynn and company, and Gold Strike Resorts that owned that Gold Strike out in Jean that we've talked about, the Hoover Dam Lodge, which was called the Gold Strike before over there by Hoover Dam and other properties. They built this together. Eventually, Circus buys Gold Strike, and then they manage it together with Mirage until all of this gets bought up by MGM eventually, and then Park MGM and all of that. Lance Burton. This property, I always thought it was weird because Monte Carlo has a luxurious type of name, and this was always a mid-tier property.
Wasn't really big into the theming or anything, but I always had a soft spot for it and I always enjoyed it in there. I don't know why. The casino floor layout was kind of easy to get around. They had a couple restaurants in there that I really enjoyed, and especially back in like the walkway, the mall type of area, they had one back there that had pretty good deals on beer and hot dogs and stuff like that. That was a fun place. But one of our first, maybe our first trip out there, we ended up in the cantina that was used to be out front, and had such a good time in there. And from then on, I always kind of loved Monte Carlo.
Yeah, Diablo's Cantina out front. The brewery there was very good. A lot of the selection of beer. My favorite Monte Carlo story, the only time I stayed there, Mark, I went to bed. There was all the carpet on the floor and everything else. I went the next morning. I woke up to leave, and the construction workers had ripped all the carpet off the entire floor for its renovation to Park MGM. I managed to find a picture of the carpet in the elevator bank ripped out. So yeah, that was my only stay there. And I just saw the pictures this morning of the rooms, and boy, were they dated. So Park MGM, not my favorite rooms, but definitely an improvement.
So you didn't get to see the Sigma Derby happen there too then?
I didn't pay enough attention. You didn't realize what you had until it was gone and so special.
Yeah, I do like Park MGM. I know people like the non-smoking factor to it. I think they did a good job with the refresh and adding everything that they have added. It looks a little bit higher end than it was as a Monte Carlo, I think. And of course, we both love the Nomad in there, which rest in peace.
Yes, the reserve at Park MGM, as it's now known. So yeah, Nomad, we didn't get to know you long enough. Of course, there was always a hotel within a hotel there. The was it Hotel 31? Hopefully I got that right, or else I'm going to cut that
I think
part
so.
out. Yeah, historic property. And one thing I was looking at is looking at T-Mobile Arena and the park and everything that grew into. It feels like it's always been that way. And I think that's a kudos to whoever designed all of that. The arena there kind of sitting between the casinos. It all does work today as much as maybe some people miss Monte Carlo.
Yeah, they did a really good job with that build out and making it seamless. And I know you love sitting there listening to the water run.
So let's flip to the opposite of peaceful and talk about Ole Red for a second. We've talked a little bit about the capitalistic obstacle courses that Paul Steelman talked about and these buildings and sort of how they block everything. But they have this new pop-up called The Backyard, and their slogan is, it's not blocked enough, let's block it even more.
Yeah. I mean, this is the worst of all the things we've seen in Vegas with the build out, because they just kind of, even before they added Old Red and Bottle Blonde, they kind of just threw those slapstick houses that look like shanties out there, not houses, but businesses. And it just never felt really well done. And then they put the two buildings there blocking kind of everything in that area, which maybe is better than the eyesore that you had there before. This is kind of the obstacle that he's talking about. You have to walk around there. I'm pretty sure this area was already set up for a while. I remember it when we were there in April walking through that area, that it seemed like it was set up. Maybe they're just now announcing it because they have music and everything outdoors. It just seems kind of makeshift. I'd rather hang out inside if it was me.
I don't know, but the one thing about this area is it's so tight and there's so many people coming from different directions going through there. But yeah, it brings the Ole Red vibe downstairs, and probably not a bad idea there. I just think that the whole thing is not the most pleasant place to walk through if you're, just trying to get from one side to the other without going to Horseshoe and all that. It's not as nice as it used to be, but you have a lot more to do, and rooftop views, all that sort of stuff. Every square foot maximized, Mark.
Yeah, I mean, who doesn't want to sit outside and look at the backside of a building instead of being on a rooftop looking at the strip?
In a second, we're going to talk about a historic property downtown being sold. But before we do, I'd love to invite you to subscribe. Thousands of you who are watching aren't subscribed. Helps us out, takes a second. Thanks in advance. So on Monday, I walked the ballpark site, walked all around there, some quirky things, went to the Enchanted Garden at Mandalay Bay, the moving walkway, Mark, at Excalibur. I got to ride the whole thing indoors, did a whole vlog, so people should check that out. The ballpark is coming along with that big archway. It's really taking shape.
Yeah, it's coming along really well. It's so cool to see stadiums getting built, especially ballparks. I think that they're a little bit more fun versus a dome or anything like that, because there's some outside elements brought inside and things like that. I mean, I know that this is going to be more enclosed versus other ones, but it still will bring the strip into it through the windows and everything. And I think it's going to be really pretty when it's all said and done. So get to witness it in sections is kind of fun. And I mean, most places, ballparks last a long time. Who knows how long before Vegas decides they need to redo it.
Well, it was a fun video to film, lots of cool angles, so go check that out. I walked through Oyo as part of that, and it was interesting. There was, in MGM Grand's lobby, there was probably 10 times more people than there were in the entirety of the property of Oyo. But the modern machines, not the carpet. I sort of was paying attention to the carpet. Don't really love that. There's still the Hooters neon signs everywhere, which is interesting. Of course, the Hooters sign's still out front and on their main marquee, and the Hooters restaurant's been gone for a while. At one point, I went to the wrong elevator. I meant to go to the parking garage, and it just went right up to the rooms. So there's no security there, except I tried to go out by the pool and film it, but it was a little bit before the pool officially opened, and the security guard yelled at me. So I don't know what's going on over there. I thought it looked nice enough, though, that it feels a little bit more spacious, but maybe that's because there was nobody there.
Yeah. I mean, they took out the center bar when you first walked in years and years ago, and that really opened it up, but it also felt empty and sad. And the pool used to be 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. So I'm sad to hear that you're saying that it has hours now. I had a lot of fun nights out in those cabana rooms that are right next to the pool. Back when it was Hooters, just so many good memories. Sad to see where it's at now. Now, did they move anything into the Hooters restaurant, or is it just kind of empty sitting there?
It's just empty sitting there, so nothing much going on there. I mean, it will have a bright future. That land will have a bright future with the ballpark right next door. What happens in the next few years, will be interesting. But yeah, not much going on over at Oyo. But moving downtown, the Gold Spike, this is one of those old casinos that was bought as part of the downtown project by Tony Hsieh. And he took the casino out, although he kept the gaming license, which is important. And he made it into this hipster sort of hotel, hangouts, lobby type area in there. And it's now sold to some local real estate investors for $11.38 million. Now, Tony Hsieh bought this property from Siegel Group back in 2013. And then we move over to Downtown Grand, and we'll talk about them in a second. But Vital Vegas reporting another sale has fallen through there, and it was the Siegel Group who was trying to buy it. So lots of moves happening, but the hope maybe Gold Spike coming back as a casino. It does have a gaming license, but the new owners are not casino operators. So maybe it just stays the same, but things changing hands over there.
Yeah, this place is makes me sad because I was very excited to go check this out. I had found it after going to Vegas several times, and I was like, all right, we're going to be staying down on Fremont this trip. Let me see some other places we haven't really been that's outside of Fremont. And I found, some articles or whatever on the Gold Spike and saw like $3 live blackjack and just seemed like a dive bar, but a dive casino. And I really wanted to check it out. And right before our trip, they pulled the gaming out or said it wasn't going to be a casino anymore. And I think that they reinvented it, made it something kind of fun, something quirky, but I don't know how you ever give up a casino. It just seems like not the best idea there. Can you think of another property that somebody bought in Vegas and then we've seen rates skyrocket for land and they sold it for like less than half of what they bought it for?
Yeah, it was $27 million, I think was the purchase price back in 2013. And you have to wonder how much of the current value sits in the gaming license, because having an active, full, unrestricted gaming license is a big deal. Yeah, I mean, it was always sort of a lower end property. The vision for what it could become never sort of surfaced. Now, I guess there's a theme to this show, Mark, walking through empty casinos, because when I did the Sigma Derby thing, I did walk through Downtown Grand, and the same sort of thing, like 1 million people on Fremont Street, 0 people almost in Downtown Grand. But that casino is pretty nice. I mean, another one, feels modern, but you just can't get people to walk that block over there.
Yeah, I mean, the casino's very nice and the rooftop pool is very cool. So they have some stuff going for them. It's just getting people to come in the door and whatever specials they need to run or whatever advertising they need to do. I don't think people really even know it's there or think about it when they're down on Fremont Street. One, it's so easy to walk up and down Fremont. But two, there's just nothing drawing you there. You need like a doorbuster type of thing to bring people in.
It's almost July, but it's not too late to get your Las Vegas Advisor membership. Thanks to everybody who signed up with our code. You can save $5. Use code MTM, only $45. Speaking of Fremont Street, hundreds of savings, gaming, dining, hotels on Fremont Street and everywhere else in Las Vegas. Well, the world is getting expensive, Mark, everywhere we go. Insurance, housing, food, just about everything. And now airport parking is going up. I know this is probably not a huge story for tourists, but Harry Reid Airport has announced that they're raising prices on parking $1 to $2. It used to be our economy parking was a good deal. It was $10, and then a few years ago went up to $12. Now it's going up to $14. Long-term parking up to $20 a day. There's a new scheme where you can make reservations at Terminal 3 and be a little cheaper, but the moral of the story is it's getting more expensive. And I miss the days of like $5 to park.
Now, is the long-term in the parking structure?
Yeah, the long term is in the parking structure. Terminal 1's economy is pretty far away. You need a shuttle. Terminal 3 has the best economy lot because you can walk to the terminal. But I've been there a couple times in the last year on a weekend, and it's like full, and I had to scramble to get a car. In fact, the last time I had to park in the main garage and pay more because I couldn't find an economy spot. So maybe this whole reservation system is an improvement, but yeah, prices going up. And I think that's happening at airports all across the country.
Yeah, I mean, the prices have gone up everywhere for sure, and it stinks when it happens, but I still think $20 for where you can walk right out the door and into a parking garage is still a pretty good deal compared to a lot of cities.
And $34 now for valet compared to $30, so that's got the biggest hit. But now that everything else is sort of going up, if they didn't raise the valet, it would have been very attractive in comparison to the other stuff. But always got a tip on top of that. But for the right person, I mean, it's also a cool service to have valet. They used to wash your cars. If anybody does that, let me know if they still wash your car while it's in the valet, because that used to be part of their service there as well.
I've only used the valet once at an airport, and that was just because I was flying out as my mom was flying in to go watch the kids. Parked in the valet, met her in the terminal, gave her the keys. She went to the valet, picked it up.
Or, you're late for your flight, you just drop the keys off at the valet. How many rental cars do you think people have returned to the valet at Harry Reid just because they don't want to drop them off? Say, here, just valet it.
Is that a thing?
I just invented it. Of course it's a thing. It's Vegas.
I'd feel more safe if it was with a valet. Be like, here's $50, go take it over there or whatever.
So the next story, Caesars has their $50 sale going on June 22nd through 29th. And I think they run this just about every summer. This year, it does not include taxes and fees. Am I wrong in thinking that it included taxes and fees before? So you're looking like $65, $69, depending on the show. But they have all their production shows. Some of the things are 2 for $50, although I didn't see anything when I was looking through that came up as 2 for $50. But Kelly Clarkson was already sold out, it looked like. But Rod Stewart, I saw, Josh Groban, David Spade, and Nikki Glazer, all of those at Coliseum had tickets and a lot more. So yeah, go check them out.
Yeah, this is a great deal if you're going to be in town and one of the shows lines up and you're interested in seeing it. Why not grab it for $50 or $60, including taxes and fees? You get some entertainment, saves you some money at the tables or the machines, right?
Yeah, I mean, $50 for some of these, and just getting into the Coliseum be cool. I mean, Rod Stewart, Josh Groban, these are top name acts. And then, of course, a lot of their production shows. I'll put a link down below. Super easy to put the code in and to search for all these shows. And I'm sure you'll find something that is worth it. $69 to go see Rod Stewart.
No tickets for Kelly, huh? We can't say, oh, Kelly Clarkson.
And let's close with this. The NBA is coming to Las Vegas. I'll make that bold prediction here right now so I can stake my claim. But most likely by December, the NBA will announce Seattle and Las Vegas as their expansion cities. That all seems on track from earlier this year when we got the official news. And we know that there are several billionaire groups trying to get ownership. But Bill Foley, the owner of the Golden Knights, put out this big press release this week, finally saying, hey, I'm in the running here. I have a group of investors. I have, banking. I have all of the consultants, and we are going for this NBA franchise to play at T-Mobile Arena. Remember, previously he talked about $300 million in renovations that he wants to do to bring it up to NBA standards. And then there was some rumors this week that maybe that would include an annex building on the west side of T-Mobile Arena for the NBA team, for offices or something like that. So the whole plan together for the Golden Knights ownership to own the NBA arena. But remember, there's at least 3 other ownership groups, a couple we don't know about. And then Magic Johnson has an ownership group as well. They all supposedly have ties to Las Vegas, according to local media. So it should be an interesting billionaire battle.
Yeah, I'm excited to watch this play out, but I mean, we've said that we think that this is the best idea or the easiest transition. He's a proven owner in major sports that's done really well. So I think that is a feather in his cap for sure. And then having T-Mobile already there, $300 million sounds like nothing compared to what some of these stadiums are costing these days. And just kind of retrofitting them. You already have all the parking set up, all the systems in place. It's just adding more nights and making the arena more useful. I think that this is a slam dunk. And this is where I'm thinking like the best for Vegas is here. Even though I'd love to see something new built just for the fun and spectacle of it. I think that this is solid and they shouldn't need any money from the city. Build it out.
Yeah, I think that is a huge thing for the city. We talked at the beginning with Park MGM, Monte Carlo, how the park and T-Mobile Arena feels like it's always been there. And you got to give credit to MGM for the way that they built it and having the vision for that. And we just don't need another arena here. We don't need the traffic problems. And we get the side effect of our Golden Knights arena getting updated and getting all the latest technology as well. And they know they can all make it work together. Many other cities have these dual use facilities. And we do have the stadium district now with these 3 stadiums somewhat close together. And, where would the 4th go? There's all these proposals. But yeah, I fully support this. And we just had the 10-year anniversary of the Golden Knights being awarded to Foley and Las Vegas. And he's just been a tremendous owner for the city. I mean, I don't think there's anybody who could say he was terrible. Even he has the minor league franchise he brought to Henderson, where I live. He's really well loved here, and that's important too.
Watch them give it to the train station for the train that will never be built.
Well, that would be a Las Vegas move. I don't know, but this is another step in the process. But it was interesting to see him. He put out this whole press release, got international coverage. So who do you think's coming up next? I think this is the first shot, but there are other people. An NBA franchise of this value doesn't come across every day. Now it's going to be $7 to $10 billion for the franchise fee. Foley isn't worth that. So he's definitely going to have minority investors, other people, but he'll be the face of the franchise.
Yeah, and that you see that with a lot of sports teams now, it's become so expensive to break in that they kind of have a conglomerate of people. And even Davis has sold off chunks of the team, even though he didn't really need to.
Yeah, we have the most interesting group of owners: Mark Davis, John Fisher, and Bill Foley. Two of those three hate each other, and I wonder what you get those three guys in a room, what would happen? So let us know what you guys think about anything we talked about today. Tickets for Kelly Clarkson, Caesar's $50 sale, is that worth it? Gold Spike being sold, the NBA and Foley, is that the right move? All of that, leave a comment. We will be back on Friday with another news show. Lots of fun stuff coming up as well. Check out my vlog from Monday. Thanks so much for watching. Talk to you next time.
Can't wait for the comments to say we're saying Kelly Clarkson wrong, but it's 40-year-old virgin's fault. Thanks, everybody. Have a good week.